All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the number 2 Kurobot, Mr. Galavi Kyo, back at it again with another video. And this time it's going to be focusing on a topic that has really come top of mind in Wuthering Waves 2.2. We all know about it at this point, and that's discussions on the main character. And this video is going to be focused on WuWa versus Genshin. We love our comparisons over here, and how the Rover destroys the Traveler's NPC vibes. We all know Aether and Lumine might as well not exist in the overall story of Genshin Impact. So with that, I'm excited to see where this discussion goes. Let's get right on into it.
I don't think I ever talked about one of my biggest gripes in gacha gaming, and it's the main characters. Most of these main characters, they're basically glorified tour guides, pointing at the scenery while someone else steals the show. But then there's Rover from Wuthering Waves, a guy who doesn't just stand there menacingly as the dialogues play out. He owns his story. Compare that to Genshin Impact's Traveler, who is basically watching the world unfold from the sidelines like a lost NPC.
The most baffling part about Genshin Impact's story to me is that I do genuinely feel like in 5 years of Genshin Impact, we've learned less about the Traveler, we've learned less about their motivations, less about their end goal than the Rover in Wuthering Waves in less than a year since release. I feel more equipped in WuWa to like actually undertake the main quest and do whatever I'm doing than I have in 5 years of Genshin. When you reduce and boil down the Genshin story of why we're going from region to region, it's literally like, hey, Traveler, we need to go over here to find out about your sibling. You get to the new region, and like, Traveler, they don't know anything about your sibling, but they have this massive problem that they want you to solve. And then you just do it for fun. Because I guess you're bored and you don't care. So you go solve the problem in the region. And then, all right, Traveler, now that we're done solving this problem, here's Dainsleif to actually progress the quest to find your sibling. It's just a formula. You know that when you get to the region, nothing's actually going to progress the MC's tale. And then Dainsleif is just going to come in at the end of every region story quest, main quest ends, and then give you more info. It's gotten so formulaic at this point that like nobody is surprised anymore that it's going nowhere fast. And I think in one quest that actually occurs, you just end up getting fucking amnesia afterwards. So it's so bad. It's so bad, the progression.
One rises to the top, the other is stuck in the background. Now today we're breaking down how Rover becomes the beating heart of his game, while Traveler, well, they're just tagging along for someone else's ride.
We've already gotten a little bit into that, but I'm excited to hear more details.
Stick with me because this is gonna be good. Now first of all, what makes a main character the main character? What makes the Herda the Herda? One just spins around and kurukuru, the other one power creeps the entire game. Now jokes aside, being a main character isn't just about being there, it's about making the story breathe. As the main character, you don't have to wake up at 3 AM in the morning every day, dipping your face in Saratoga water and wiping your face with banana peels. A great main character drives the plot forward. Their choices, their battles, their stakes are why everything clicks into place. They are the glue in the system that binds the cast together, the lens we see the world through, and frankly, the reason why we care at all. Now Rover in Wuthering Waves, he starts off bland as well, sure, he can't find the lamb sauce, but then he grows into that role in a way that feels earned. Traveler from Genshin, not so much. They never quite hit.
I think one thing that is definitely a big highlight we've seen from WuWa 1.0 all the way to 2.2 is how much more like the Rover speaks, how much we learned about their story motivations in 1.3 and that whole Black Shores oriented patch, how much we see like they're linked to like the existing regions, like the, you know, they have like some form of communication with all the sentinels who are like the demigods of each region, all of that, and you feel like you have a reason to be in every single place. It's not as contrived as just Traveler, they might know something, Traveler, we don't know if they do, but fuck it, whatever. Genshin's motivation for going to region is just so loose and so weak. And you're kind of just there for the ride. Absolutely.
Role in a way that feels earned. Traveler from Genshin, not so much. They never quite hit the mark. In Genshin Impact, the story isn't about the Traveler. It is about Teyvat's nations, its archons, its shiny 5-star that is getting a limited banner that patch. Traveler feels like a prop, an NPC. You've got like Raiden Shogun slicing through one of the strongest in the Harbingers, or Kazuha parrying the literal god of Inazuma, or even the battle between Mavuika and Capitano, and Traveler's there just like not doing anything. They are like the Sneeko of the gacha space.
For all of you who don't know who Sneeko is, He's a cuckold.
He's so for real. Hey, El Capitano, make sure you're wearing protection, man. And they're just a bystander, not the star. Meanwhile, Rover as well, Shorekeeper calls you her star, so that must be true, right? Bro is out here leading the charge, turning a crumbling world into his stage. And that is the difference we're digging into today. How one MC owns the scene, while the other is just watching. Now let's talk about where Wuthering Waves gets it right, because this is where Solon flips the script. Rover was a guy who wakes up with no memory, no clue, no money, no babe. Actually, that was a joke because bro literally woke up with 2 babes next to him. At least he got that going for him, right? A literal loser boyfriend type beat here. Sounds like me in my Valorant era. But anyways, he was pretty much a blank slate, right? But here's the kicker. He doesn't stay that way. Fast forward to Renacita, the Land of Echoes area. Rover's not just wandering through. He is digging into mysteries, steering the chaos like he owns it. He is bantering with Abby like they are old pals, unraveling the Mafia family secrets, leading the charge with a presence that demands attention. He is just that guy. And even the fights, they are next level. And this is all featured in that last part of the story quest where we go against Fleur-de-Lis. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, right? This is just Rover aura farming. Like going into it, you see that this final boss you're fighting just whipped out a giant sword, calls you the mighty god killer, like holy. And you know what people say, right? Don't mess with the quiet kid, don't bother him. They might do some shady stuff. Well, guess what Fleur-de-Lis did? Yep, bro went ahead and EOS Rover's Discord Econ, like, yeah, good luck, gang, you're on your own. Like, Rover called me, said, don't go to school tomorrow. Legit, went sicko mode, like, I'm good. We fought Fleur-de-Lis after that, and we get to use all the elements we got so far, like...
Okay, holy shit, what the fuck is even going on over here? Holy fuck, where is he even going with this one? I sort of understand what's happening over here. I think the main gist of it is just Rover moves the story forward. Rover is, in most cases, the integral character. You get to see every single thing that's going on. You get to experience why everything in the world is moving, and you do it entirely, you know, through the control of the character. Sure, right? Wuthering Waves is a game that is focused on selling new units, marketing them, advertising them, doing all of this stuff. But they make sure at the same time, while they're marketing these characters, they're not shifting the focus of the narrative away from the main character. And there is so much loss that you see in Genshin Impact, right? So much of a level of disconnect where you just feel like you're genuinely a spectator for all of the cool things that the NPCs are doing in a cutscene. Let me just show you all the probably biggest example of this, and it's actually in Fontaine, which is widely considered one of the best regions in Genshin Impact history. Let's just look at what the Traveler does here.
They're here.
Just watch.
Just like I said.
Right? They got the primordial water that's gonna kill everybody if it gets loose. Oh, we got Ryazzli coming in. Oh, badass. Freezes that shit. Look at that. We're about to get blown away by the wind. Clorinda's just sitting there, chilling. Right? Hey, no problem. Why are we such a little bitch? Why is the MC this much of just a pussy? She's literally just standing her ground, chilling. And we look like we're... Awesome. All right, here we go. Oh, it's about to get badass here, right? Let's see what the Traveler's gonna do, guys. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, he's about to escape. All right, I bet the Traveler's gonna help him escape. I bet the Traveler's gonna help Ryazzli escape here. He's sprinting for his fucking life.
3, 2, 1.
All right, Clorin fires it. Fires the shot. All right, surely Traveler's gonna do something here. Surely they're gonna do... Why are you even there? Why is the Traveler even there? What purpose did they serve other than just get blown away by the wind? What's the point of the main character in this game? This is what I mean by clearly Genshin Impact is really trying to sell Ryazzli and Clorinde here, right? They're really trying to sell them by showing off how absolutely badass they are and how cool they are and everything. The sacrifice of doing that is that this MC, literally, there's no, like, narrative sync. There's, like, no narrative flow to the game because you're in control of a character who absolutely never fucking contributes anything at all to the progression of the story. You could just not be there, and it feels like everything would happen in all of the regions exactly how it plays out when they are there. And at the end of the day, it just becomes so insignificant and, like, so boring that you lose all connection to this unit. And maybe that just goes hand in hand with how Genshin balances their MC. By balance, I mean they're fucking useless, right? Nobody uses the MC in any content because they're completely dog shit. While in WuWa, you actually do some badass shit. You're the one that's fighting the bosses. You actually resolve the issue. You do the cool shit in the cutscene. And it turns out the Rover, the MC in WuWa, they're actually pretty good. They're actually very usable in combat. They're usable in all the endgame content, and they feel quite powerful. Yeah, it's like night and day.
Spectral, Havoc, Arrow. I don't think that has been implemented in Gacha so far. If anything, this reminds me back in the day where I used to play on my cousin's console. The game is called Infamous Second Son, and Wuthering Waves actually felt like a AAA game, I can't lie. Assassin's Creed Shadow got some massive competition, you feel me? Hey Ubisoft, watch out gang, Kuro Games is coming after you.
There's a big reason why WuWa actually feels like a AAA story being told, like AAA level of progression, and that is entirely 1000% because the narrative is told in a way that's similar to a high quality game. Genshin's narrative is so fucking bad, like, you know it's gacha. If you were to just play the WuWa story, not engage with the gacha, but just play all of the story quests in the game, it doesn't really feel like a gacha game with how it's flowing from one place to another and how cohesive and tight everything feels. But in Genshin, it's all like fucking loose because nothing you do actually matters.
And after you beat the boss, you thought you was done, but no. It looks like Kuro Games had their animators get the Mappa treatment right here because look at that fight. Every hit had impact, every parry, every dodge, just absolute cinematic experience.
And one part that Glaive isn't even talking about was how in the 2.2 quest, you were able to use all 3 versions of Rover at the exact same time, and then like swap between them, utilize all the game's combat mechanics with all their different forms. This was honestly some of the most fun I've ever had in a game story before.
And here's where it gets wild. He is giving Sung Jin-woo vibes from Solo Leveling. One-man power orchestra, tearing through the chaos like it's his personal playground. Call it Solon Leveling, you feel me? Solon is out here cooking with Rover. They cooked up ribs falling off the bone, man, finger licking good, you feel me?
I think the 2 memes that people have come up with is Solon Leveling and Dewey May Cry. That's poetry in motion right there. Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's not just strength, it is also the charisma. The players used to joke about him gathering wives like Shorekeeper, Camellia, Changli, Jinshi, all swooning, right? Now, he is the Rizalisa. I mean, look at the guy. Bro is saying the right lines at the right time. He got Cardathea blushing type shit, man. And then me and my chat at twitch.tv/GlaveKeo, we be wagging our feet, gang. Like, hey, Rover's got that Riz. I'm trying to be like bro, for real. Guy is actually Sigma, no printer. I mean, like, what am I saying at this point? But like,
if you want to compare Rover versus Traveler in a similar scene, here's this. Was this the right link? Oh, you mean like with the Chlorinde, with the whole Chlorinde thing. Gotcha. Okay. If this was Genshin Impact, this would be like Brant or somebody else. This would be a different character. But instead, the main character gets to do it. And guess what, guys? That's why everyone is calling it Gathering Wives. Because the main character just happens to actually go out and do things. Versus Genshin Impact, where you're actually sitting in the cuck chair and it's every other fucking unit, every other playable unit that's actually doing the interactive stuff in the story. That really just sums it up. The one time you have a character actually interact with the MC, I do believe it's Sitlali interacting with Aether. That's like the one time. People immediately started calling it like Gooner bait. They immediately started calling Genshin Impact Gooner bait because Sitlali actually took, you know, the cutscenes and stuff and focused on the main character for once. Shocking, I know. Maybe that explains why Genshin has been marketing itself in a certain way. It's like, it's designed for a type of person that just likes everybody else getting in on the action, but not them. Maybe that's like mostly the Genshin player base now that I think about it. It would explain a lot.
This isn't some errand boy flexing for applause. Rover is the action hero we didn't know we needed. His choices, his scars, they shape Solaris 3 in a way that hits you right here. The chest area. He is the engine driving running this machine, not a passenger coasting on hype, and that is why he's rewriting the Gacha MC rulebook. Now compare that to someone who is still stuck in neutral. I'm not talking about Mr. Pokey, I'm talking about the—
Let's just say, Glaive Keo, there's plenty more you can do. There's a lot more content you can make, a lot more jokes you can make regarding this creator in the future. There's gonna be a lot you could do. You're like tickling the tip of the iceberg with this one. You got to go a little bit deeper than that.
gear shift neutral. No, you don't get it. Let's talk about Traveler and why they are not measuring up. So Rover is out here owning his story, right? Meanwhile, Genshin's Traveler, it is just like there. Look, I get it. They're on this big quest to find their sibling. Stratted into Vat sounds epic on paper, but in practice, they're a witness, not the driver. And this wasn't their story, it's everyone else's. Because every interaction, you got Paimon yapping away, stealing every line, while Traveler is just standing there like a statue with a dull blade. Minimal dialogue, zero personality. They have their own anime. It's called Aetherson Cannot Communicate. Like, people are almost forgetting that Traveler has a voice actor. And the plot? It is all just the Archons,
I feel like Traveler having a voice actor has to be the goofiest fucking shit on earth. Traveler having a VA is like the most wasted budget I've ever seen. Like, at that point, just go get like an orangutan to just like grunt every 3 seconds, and that would cover about 90% of Traveler's voice lines until the end of time.
5 stars, the big players. Traveler's just an errand runner. Hey, go fetch this, Traveler. Oh, cook this for me. Fight that slime, please. They are not shaping to Vat. They are reacting to it. Take their sibling quest, right? Supposedly the heart of their journey. It has been how many years? And it still feels like a side note. Buried under layers of nation hopping and primo grinding. There is no growth, no spark. They are stuck in this self-insert shell designed for us to project onto. But here's the problem. A blank slate only works if it fills in over time. Traveler doesn't. They're an NPC in their own game. I mean, sure, they got some cool outfits compared to other gachas even nowadays, but they are not the main character Genshin deserves. It is frustrating because you can feel the potential, but it is drowned out by the cast that outshines them at every turn, every patch. From launch, we got Venti, who has got the charm. We got Raiden Shogun, who got the power. Farina, the best personality and story. Even the latest one, Verisa. At least her story quest is a little bit fun to look.
Why is he using a censored version of Verisa's art? Would putting the uncensored version demonetize him? She has like drawn on short— Wait, what? Hey, but this character's not Goonerbait. Oh, hey guys, this character's not Goonerbait. This character's totally not Goonerbait, guys. It's just you have to actively censor her model on YouTube, otherwise you get demonetized, but that's not Goonerbait. Shut up. This character is somebody's fetish. This character is literally somebody's fucking fetish put into the game.
Look into. And Traveler is just there putting the fries in the bag, flipping the burgers, like what are we even doing? But let's pull the curtain back on something ugly in gacha games, and this has been
Mine? Oh my god.
going for like the longest time. The self-insert trap. It's this sneaky little flaw where developers design main characters to be us. Blank slates, no voice, no edge, just a walking avatar for players to slot into. I mean, it sounds smart, right? Make the MC a mirror, let us project our fantasies and keep it broad.
Every day, we stray further from God's light. Every single day, we do. Just so you all are aware, this character is a male. This character has a Y chromosome, and this is Glaive's mirror.
So everyone is happy, except it's a trap. It guts the story of any soul. They are not characters, they are placeholders, built to stand there while the real story happens around them. Now think about it. Traveler's got no real personality all this time. Silence is their gimmick, and it is not mysterious, it is empty. The game leans on Paimon to carry the chatter, on Archons to carry the stakes, on 5 stars to carry the hype. But why? Because Traveler is not meant to shine. They are meant to sell. They are a safe bet, a neutral shell, so we can imagine ourselves pulling the characters for the next big banner, right? It is a business move, not a story move, and it leaves them stranded, never growing, never leading, just a pair of boots running errands for Teyvat's VIPs. And that is the self-insert curse. You start vague to hook players, but then you stay vague because the death might scare off the cash flow. It is cynical, and it is why so many gacha main characters feel like they're phoning it in. Now Rover, he is the plot twist. Wuthering Waves could have played that same game, and yeah, he starts off looking like he might. No memory.
I'm gonna be real, yeah, Rover genuinely does kind of feel a lot like Aether or Lumine at the start of the game. I would say within like version like 1.0, that's kind of like what it starts feeling like. But I genuinely do believe the story went through like some level of like rewrite for like 1.1 and beyond, and they straight up ungenshified the game. And now, like, you saw the role that they had in Mount Firmament, you saw the role that they had in 1.3 and 1.4 2.0, and boy oh boy, the narrative and the game, the story, the compelling, like how compelling it is, the reasons to keep playing it, the reasons to pay attention to the story, they're amplified to such a high degree. I don't know if I can speak for the entire player base when I say this, but I just feel like a deeper connection to the Wuthering Waves story. I have a huge connection to the Wuthering Waves story. I feel so invested in seeing where it goes. I have like a deep connection to this free fucking character, right? That I really shouldn't be using, but I like feel a desire to use them and build them and play them. And Kuro's doing this at their own expense. They're doing this at their own fucking expense to preserve the narrative of the game. They're building connection to a character that they're giving out to everybody for free. That's a terrible business decision. It's a terrible business decision in Gacha to do that. But they're willing to take the hit. They're willing to take the sacrifice to make the storytelling in the game so much stronger and so much better. And I'm gonna be honest, we're seeing that come to a head in version 2.2. And boy, oh boy, the rewards, the feedback, the reception has been earned, has been 100% earned. Kuro's willing to make those sacrifices and move on from that.
Memories dropped into chaos, a blank page. I mean, look at Male Rover. That is the most self-insert character I've ever seen in my life. But here's where it gets good. He doesn't stay that way. This isn't some lazy, you are the hero cop-out. Rover's got a past that haunts him, stakes that cut deep, a fire that builds into something you can't ignore. He is not just a vessel for us. He is a guy with a mission, a spine, a voice that actually matters. When he steps into Renacita or faces down his failures, it is not about projecting us into him. It is about watching him take charge. He breaks the mold because he is allowed to be a character, not a mannequin, and that is the gut punch. Rover proves you that you don't have to sacrifice death for a gacha main character to work. He is proof that the trap is a choice, not a rule. And to be fair, self-inserting in a character that is as badass as Rover feels great. I mean, trust me, I would know. So when you line Rover up against the Traveler, it is not just a tale of two MCs, it is a showdown between breaking free and staying stuck. I mean, if you put them head to head, right? Because this is where the rubber meets the road. Rover rises and Traveler stagnates. I mean, first up, Rover's story is his to command. Those personal stakes, fixing the mess he left behind with a lament, they are his fuel. He is not just reacting, he is rewriting the script, carving his path through a broken world. While Traveler, they're like following someone else's playbook. Every quest in Tavat feels like a to-do list handed over by an Archon or a chatty mascot. No real impact in Genshin Impact. They're just checking boxes, bro. And then there's the presence, right? Because Rover's got a voice that cuts through. Whether he is bantering or staring down chaos, you feel him. With Gardathia blushing and his allies hanging on his every move.
That is one entirely super 1000% fair thing to say. Rover in version 2.2 has had so many fucking voice lines, has honestly to a degree almost even like over communicated. We hear the internal monologue, the voice tone shifts, and we get to hear all the responses, or not really all of them, but a huge number of responses in the dialogue, and the game has just been all the better for it. However, that's only if you're using male Rover, because male Rover's VA is much better than female Rover. So if you really do want the optimal experience in Wuthering Waves, you know which gender you have to be. L-Tech tone. I play JP female Rover. All right, that's fair.
He is radiating aura again.
In EN though, male Rover is Supremo.
Earning that Rizalisa title, you feel me? But then Traveler's just a mute shadow. Paimon's got the mic, and they're just nodding along like a backup dancer who forgot the routine. And that is a funny joke because why? It's like Traveler's only got like 4 dialogue moves. It's like the thinking move or like the what move. Legit only that since launch. And then action is where it gets brutal. Because Rover is out here mastering elements like Spectro, Havoc, Arrow, turning battles into cinematic showdowns that scream main character energy. While Traveler's fights, they are like errands with extra steps. I mean, sure, they swing a sword, but it's always for someone stronger, someone flashier. I mean, hopefully that makes sense, right?
I mean, a big thing we have to focus on, right, is how absolutely dog shit the Traveler as a unit is. And so when the unit is this bad and is this weak and is this unable to be put into any team or usable in any content at all, the disconnect when you see them actually do something in the story is palpable. Because you're just like, yeah, I never use this fucking unit. I never have a reason to. They're completely dog shit trash. And so when I see them do something like cool in a cutscene, the very few times you do get to see them do something cool, it's just not very believable. But with Rover, they could literally just solve the world. They could kill the Lament. They could kill every Threnodian, and it's all good. I'd believe it. It feels great.
On the technically in-game. What Traveler has is like the Archon, but smaller. Neuvillette got this whole water Blastoise, and Aether is a Squirtle. Like, bro, what is this water gun, bruh? Like, you're telling me this is the main character? Get out of here, get out! Let's also talk about how Rover is the core. I mean, like, his crew rallies around him, drawing to his gravity, while Traveler is a tag-along in a Genshin 5-star circus, lost in a lineup where they are the least interesting act. I mean, nobody cares about Traveler at this point. One is a force that you can't ignore, and one is fading into the noise. This isn't even a fair fight. Rover is playing a different game, quite literally. So what is the takeaway here? Rover grows into the true main character. He drives his story with every choice, owns the screen with every clash, and binds his cast like he is the sun they orbit around.
Can we just talk about how good this was as an April Fool's joke? This was fucking amazing. Being able to see like all these fucking like chibi models and stuff, actually so good.
He is not just in Wuthering Waves, he is why it works. Now Traveler, they are lost in Genshin's crowd, a bystander stuck watching everyone else shine, and Rover's rise isn't just impressive, it's a wake-up call. It shows what a gacha main character can be, a force with depth, stakes, and swagger, while Traveler is the reminder of how most don't even try. They fade into the background, leaving you wondering why they're the lead at all. And this is not about hating on Genshin Impact, it is about recognizing a standard Rover sets that others can't touch.
And I guess this is the thing, right? It's pretty clear from the Traveler's implementation how dog shit they are in the story and how dog shit they are as a kid. The one thing Hoyo wants you to do is never actually play the Traveler. They don't ever actually want you to use them. They don't want you to find value in them. They want you to think like they are an afterthought, like they are a joke. And that just makes it so painful, right? To try to like, to know that like, this is the character that you're piloting around. This is the character that you're like constantly bringing to the forefront and like controlling. You just think they're baby shit and worthless and useless. There's no value in their story implementation, and there's no value in their kid.
He is the bar now, and it is high. So what do you think? Does Rover outshine the Traveler, or am I missing something?
The Rover definitely does. And one thing that I just remembered that I really want to focus on, great video by Glaive, by the way, is that one scene, right, where we're fighting Kartithia and we got all three of the elements. You know how in Genshin Impact, you get to see the Traveler do various attacks in the different elements, change the forms, do all of that, but it's only in the cutscenes? In Wuthering Waves, they just let you fucking actually do that in game. They let you actually just experience the attribute element switching firsthand in game. And this, again, that's one of the big reasons why it just fulfills like the actual power fantasy of this unit that's supposed to be absorbing all these different frequencies and gaining access to all these different tools. You don't get to just see it in cutscenes. You get to experience it firsthand. I need to see more fights like this. But yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to get off my chest before we ended the video. Great job by Glaive once again. And it is pretty clear by now, especially after 2.2. And if you don't care about 2.2 and Rover's implementation, you probably never will when it comes to an MC. They're hitting it out of the park. They're doing an amazing job. This shit is absolutely fucking peak. Let me know what you all think. Peace. Let me like the video too.